Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
Another person exited that trailer with an assault weapon and ambushed. Ambushed by 2 officers.
7.5 years after 2 St. John deputies were shot and killed in what was described as a violent ambush, a jury has convicted the killer. Good evening, I'm Karen Swenson.
And I'm Katie Moore. Deputies Brandon Neilsen and Jeremy Triche were killed in a shootout at a LaPlace trailer park in 2012.
The jury started deliberating late this afternoon, and it didn't take them long for them to come back with a verdict. Kyle Joekel is guilty. Paul Murphy joins us live with an update. And Paul, a fast verdict. The jury obviously didn't buy the defense's case.
Yeah, Karen, Katie, the jury actually got the case around 4 o'clock this afternoon after 6 days of testimony and 5 hours of closing arguments. And prosecutors asked the jury to come back with a verdict that was swift and certain, and they certainly did. We can tell you the jury took less than a half hour to find Kyle Joekel guilty of the first-degree murders of St. John Parish deputies Jeremy Triche and Brandon Neilsen. Joekel is one of 2 men accused of murder in the ambush-style shootings. The 12 jurors from Alexandria were asked to decide whether Joekel was an innocent bystander or cold-blooded killer. Judging from the quick verdict, the jury found Joekel's defense unconvincing. And here is St. John Sheriff Mike Triche.
Thank everyone for being out here today. This has been a long time coming. I want to thank the prosecution. I want to thank all of the agencies that were here today that has helped us set up the security for this trial. We've been planning for this since Thanksgiving. I want to commend the families for staying strong and being here today for their loved ones. We have a ways to go. We do have another defendant out there, so I'm going to be very careful with my statements. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., they're going to start doing impact statements regarding the sentencing phase, so we'll see where that takes us. But right now, it's a good day. It's a hard thing to relive all of this stuff again, but it was done, and it was done very, very well. And I just want to thank the deputies that were here, that stayed here in the midst of all this tragedy, stayed on the job, remained on the job to keep St. John Parish safe. So I really appreciate all the men and women of St. John Parish Sheriff's Office.
Sheriff, you and I were talking a little bit about closure.
That you felt made this come to this decision with the guilty verdict?
I think it was the preparation. I think it was a total team effort. I can't single out just one thing. I just think it was done very, very well, very professional, and I think the prosecution did an outstanding job.
Can you talk a little bit about the impact of this particular ambush killings in terms of what it did to the community, and do you think that your department and this community can now start healing and have some measure of closure?
Maybe. It might happen. What happened that day, I'd only been in office 45 days. And the support we got from the community and the citizens and other law enforcement agencies. Remember that day when all of that happened, all those agencies showed up. I never made one phone call, and we had 50, 60 officers there with helicopters and SWAT teams. So the community has been very supportive. They've gotten even more supportive of us. I mean, every time I ask for $1 for a bulletproof vest, it's overwhelming. So I think the community is staying strong with us today. And this is, I don't know if you want to call it a victory. It is a victory in some sense, but it's also still a reminder of a tremendous loss.
Should he die for this crime? Should he die for this crime?
Next question.
Sheriff Triche, obviously the sentencing hearing is tomorrow. He is facing the death penalty. What is your hope for the sentencing hearing tomorrow?
I'm going to hold off my statements until this part tomorrow is done. I do have an opinion. I'll share it with you guys later, but not right now.
Sheriff, did you speak with the family after the verdicts were returned, and can you tell us about their reaction?
Everybody remained calm. I think the jury came back, I think it was less than 30 minutes. So that's typically a very good sign that a verdict was reached and that it would be in our favor. So everybody remained calm. There was no screaming or shouting, and it is what it is. The family stood strong, and tomorrow we get to hear from them. I'm looking forward to that.
And Sheriff, obviously this has been a trying trial for your deputies as well. How does your department move forward?
We've been trying to move forward every day since then. Just trying to keep my troops motivated, trying to stay focused, trying to keep them going. A lot of officers got, if you don't know it, they got tattoos with the officers' numbers. We had things done at the sheriff's office. We planted a tree at the library. Just there are constant reminders that are there that we've done and people have done so that we never forget what happened that day.
Describe why it took so long, so many years to come to this day.
Hey man, the wheels of justice turn slow, but they turn. That's the only thing I can tell you about that. I'm a patient guy. I like to fish, so patience is a part of my nature. And guess what? We got one today. We got one more left.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all you guys. See you all tomorrow.
Again, verdicts coming back just a little while ago. It took less than 30 minutes for the jury to found Kyle Joekel guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths, the killing deaths, the ambush-style killings of 2 St. John Parish Sheriff deputies. Now, the penalty phase is now expected to begin at 10 tomorrow morning. That's when the jury will decide whether Kyle Joekel should get life in prison or the death penalty. We're live in Edgard. Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
And we'll, of course, be following the sentencing phase. Thank you, Paul.